Hello viewers, we apologize for the break in transmission. There was a few technical hitches that we experienced that we did not anticipate. Thank you for staying tuned. So I'd like to welcome you back to our discussion. We'll keep going as we discuss issues of disabilities and how we can form appropriate relationships with persons with disabilities. Please don't forget to send your comments and questions to our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, our Facebook page, and we will pick them and address them as you bring them in. And if you prefer WhatsApp, the number to send your questions or comments to is 0501 579 996. That is 0501 579 996. Okay, Papa, so before the break, we talked a little bit about things to do with sensitization, about matters of disability, and part of how we can do that is to hear people's stories, to listen to the things they've experienced and so on. So if you are comfortable, could you share with us, as a person with a disability, could you share with us what kinds of disability you have and how it came to be that way?
Thank you. I have a walking disability or mobility disability.
Right.
So I walk with crutches.
Yeah.
And it happened at age 2.
Okay.
When I had started exploring my environment. I had walked as a baby or a young boy.
Yeah.
I was exploring my environment. But then one day I was traveling with my mom to visit my daddy who was teaching at the northern part of Ghana.
Okay.
And when we got to Kumasi, my mommy said I had a high temperature, so she sent me to the hospital. And I was given an injection.
Oh.
And that was all. I got paralyzed.
Oh.
And it took the intervention of God for me to actually be on my feet with the help of
the crutches.
The crutches. So that was how come I had mind disability.
Yeah.
Yes.
What kind of impact did it have on your life?
Yes. In fact, when I started school, they had to carry me to school each and every day because at that age, I hadn't be fully strong. I was not fully strong.
Okay.
So my mommy was actually doing that.
Okay.
And the chief of our town saw her one day and said that she was wasting time on me. She should let me sit at home, and when I am when I am grown up, I should be sent to learn shoemaking.
No.
But my mommy did not actually buy into that advice.
Okay.
And she defied all odds to get me educated.
Right.
So when I completed my first degree, I wanted to go back to this chief and go and show myself to him and tell him that, Chief, the Shushan boy is now a graduate too.
Yes.
But unfortunately, for him or for me, he had taken the lead to Asamando.
Okay. But were there different kinds of beliefs or myths about what could have contributed to what happened to you? Because I know we hold certain myths or beliefs about disability.
Yes. Some members of my family believe that it was, witchcraft that had caused the disability. But my parents were so strong in their Christian belief that they did not actually buy into that.
Okay.
And so that actually strengthened them to make sure that they had given me all that I needed.
Okay.
Yes, to grow up.
Yeah.
And I owe my my success to them. Yes, I owe my success to them.
How was it for you in the schools? How were you treated, or how did people engage with you in school?
Yes. In school, I would say I didn't have much challenge.
Okay.
But of course, in every society, you have some people who would actually want to disturb you.
Yeah.
So I had some few guys who would come and tease me. But generally, yes, generally people, they liked me.
Yeah.
Again, I was that type who is brilliant.
Okay.
And so my mates were always coming to me to teach them.
To teach them,
Yeah,
yes.
so I had that friendly relationship with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that generally, I mean, I've heard of instances where children can be very kind, and a lot of the stigma or discrimination that we tend to hear about people meeting out to persons with disability, they are learned behaviors that children they are not born with. And especially when you have contact with people, you realize that he or she is just like me. Sometimes better at things than I am, you know. So it takes contact with people to dispel some of these myths and issues. Okay. Papa, I think it must have taken a lot of willpower to tread the path that you have tread in terms of advocating and you know, speaking up about disability issues. Can you tell us about some of your experiences as an advocate?
Yes, as you rightly put it. From even the front of, or from the perspective of the church, people see, or some persons in the church believe that every person with disability should be healed.
Right, yes.
And he should be healed first before they can fully integrate him or have a relationship with him.
Yes.
So when they see that, yes, it's a long time you became a Christian, and you have even become an osofo, and yet you are not healed.
Yeah.
They tend to believe that you lack faith.
Yes.
You lack faith.
Yeah.
That is why you've not been healed. But they also tend to forget that in Mark's gospel, it doesn't take the faith of the sick to get healed. It takes the faith of the miracle worker to get the person who is sick or who has a disability to receive his miracle.
Okay.
In Mark's gospel, it says that, and these signs shall follow those who believe. In my name. They will lay their hands on the sick and he'll be healed. And so when you call me to pray for me, and I did not receive my healing, you don't turn around and tell me that
it's your fault.
Yes. It's due to my lack of faith.
Yeah.
But what about you? Did your faith also work?
Yeah.
If I don't have faith, your faith should make me healed.
Okay.
You see, so we need to actually understand scriptures and know how best to approach persons with disabilities so that we do not incur or confuse them.
Right.
We do not confuse them. We must make them know that they are part and parcel of us.
Right.
And for that matter, we all come together to serve Christ.
Yes.
And that is why the church needs to understand this and also put in place measures that would let them know that disability is universal.
Yes.
And for that matter, we all need to come together
Yes.
and work for its good cause.
Yes. Okay, thank you. We have a comment by Samuel that I would like to read out. He says, as a church, I personally feel we haven't done enough for people with disabilities. Not that I'm aware of, but what I know is that there is a member who is hearing impaired. And though he is frequent at church, I don't know if much has been done to engage him in terms of his disability and ensure his full participation during church service. I notice he speaks a lot with Mr. Fiakri, but I really do not know how they communicate. I wish the church could pay some personal attention to him. Thank you for your comment, Samuel. So in relation to the comments by Samuel, what kinds of things can we do as a church with an example like this when someone is hearing impaired? Because I also know that not everybody understands the sign language, or not everybody has been taught the sign language. What can we do?
You know, we normally say salvation is free, but it is also costly.
Costly.
It cost God his only begotten Son,
Right.
to have us saved. And so we must operate in that on that premise.
Okay.
And make conscious effort to bring every person on board.
Okay.
In this wise, it's long overdue for the church to have sign language interpreters.
Yeah.
Sign language interpreters.
Yeah.
But then one other thing is that, fine, if you don't have sign language interpreters, we can use technology to communicate to some of them who are literate,
Okay.
who can read and write.
Yeah.
For instance, this interview, if we have the software that will bring the print
Okay.
on the screen.
So that there are subtitles.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can see that they can read and follow what
Yes.
we are doing.
Yeah.
Again, we can locate them in their, we can locate their family members, those who are very close to them.
Okay.
Even if they don't know how to sign, they have a way of communicating.
Yeah.
And by so doing, if they come to church with them, they can help them understand at least one or two lines of the sermon that is preached.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they come to church and they do not benefit
Yeah.
from what is practiced
Yes.
here at church.
Yes. Yes. It's a very good point. So it's more about thinking about how do we meet the needs of our members, including and maybe especially those who are vulnerable in some way. Okay, now Isaac also has a question, and he says, what would you say to those who argue that because Jesus heals the sick, Christians should not have disabilities? Is it a matter of faith? I think you've addressed a little bit the faith matter, but what do you say to those who say, as a Christian, you are not meant to have a disability?
You know, there is a book, the title is The Disabled God,
Okay.
by Nancy Nancy.
Okay.
And her argument is that, Jesus died disabled. He died disabled. He was bruised.
Yeah.
He was, his
was
body
broken.
Was broken.
Yeah.
And even after the resurrection, Jesus resurrected with a disabled body. The marks of disability were all over his body. So he could call Thomas to come and verify. So the first verification was done by Thomas.
Yeah.
Because the marks identified him. You see? So disability, in this sense, yes, it's a state of being. It's a state of being. It's not everybody who will be healed. And if we get that understanding, it will help us. I'm not saying that we shouldn't pray for healing. We should pray for healing. But then, if it comes, we will give thanks to God.
Yes.
But if I don't receive my healing, that shouldn't become a limitation for me not to serve God.
Right.
I must serve God with the body that He has provided me.
Yeah.
Be it contoured body or battered body. Battered body. So it is our understanding that is more important in this.
It's a good point. I keep saying that because you're really giving us a lot of rich information. So serve God in the body that He gave you, because we believe He's a good God. He knows why He allowed certain things to happen. So we don't sit down and wait for healing and say, until I get my healing, I won't be a Christian. So thank you for that point, Papa. Now, in terms of in our homes, in our communities, what kinds of practical things can we personally, in our little corner, what kinds of things can we do?
Yes, I will say this. We must plan for the disability.
Okay. We must plan for it. Everybody should plan for it. Okay.
It's like the Social Security.
Yes.
You must plan for your pension.
Yeah.
I know of a couple who bought a very nice house at Osu. But all the bedrooms were on the first floor. It got to a point that they could not climb upstairs. Now they have vacated their own house and they are perching with their daughter because there is no bedroom downstairs.
Yeah.
And they did not also provide a lift. So these are the things that we do. We tend to forget it. We treat disability as an incidental, as an afterthought.
Yeah, something that is far away from us.
Yes, we don't. It is not in our plan. It is when it happens, then we hurriedly do something. I once attended a conference in Nigeria. They knew that those coming with disabilities, there were even students with disabilities in that seminary, but it never occurred to them that they will make their place disability friendly.
I see.
It was when we got there, when we were about to go there, that they said, hey, let us do something about our place.
I see.
But because when you got there, you saw the caricature that they had done. Because it was not in their planning.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is what we need to do.
It's a thing here as well, right? Most of our buildings are not accessible.
No.
They are not accessible, and so we have to think about that.
Our church buildings,
Yeah.
and our manses, even TUC church building. I was here last 3 weeks to preach. And when I was climbing and descending the staircase to the platform, everybody was watching me. But then I did that to also let them know that they must also think about harmonizing their
buildings, yes.
Harmonizing their buildings.
Yeah.
And in our individual lives, we need to actually do that.
Yeah.
As ministers, we must also oversee the proper construction of our church buildings and manses and offices.
Yes.
So that persons with disabilities can come freely to our offices.
Yes. I'm always telling people that, I mean, I've had to carry a wheelchair up and down stairs a number of times, and it isn't something simple, not just for you who is doing the carrying, but if you slip or there's a little mishap, you can create a lot of problems. But when we are putting up our buildings, we don't think about these things, like you said. We don't plan for them.
No. And you see, the washrooms, for instance, washrooms.
They are so narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't see some persons who have visitors in church, it is because
it's not accessible.
Yeah. So we must make sure that our place is disability friendly.
Yeah. Let me pick another comment by Auntie Vida Kwapong Ekufu. And she says, the speech impaired gentleman can read. And so the key messages are often projected on the screen for him. I admit we could do more as a church to support members like him. Thank you for that comment, Auntie Vida. It's good to know that we've started to do some things, and we are looking forward to stepping that up.
Yes, that's why I also advocate that ministers and those who preach must make sure that, yes, their sermons are in PowerPoint format.
Okay.
So that the screen is not only to project hymns.
Okay.
We must use it effectively to communicate the word of God. Okay.
So we should think about putting our sermons and our presentations together in PowerPoint as well. Okay. So we've talked a bit about, recognizing that disability is not that far away. All of us potentially at some point will become disabled as we age. But also that we have to think about how we plan our buildings so that it's more accessible. How can we improve on the kinds of things that are done within schools, for instance, for people with disabilities?
Yes. Our educational system says that they are implementing inclusive education.
Yeah.
But you go to a school and you see that the school is not highly or accessible or universally accessible.
Okay.
And the school compound, the classroom, and so it becomes very difficult for a person in a wheelchair to be wheeled from one place to another. And this creates big problem for for such persons because the school environment.
Okay.
Remember, in the beginning I said disability in the social perspective is the impairment plus environment.
Yes. Yes.
It's the impairment plus environment. So if the environment is not friendly, disability friendly, then it is the environment that is disabling me.
That's right.
It is not my impairment.
Impairment, yes, absolutely. If we make our environments or our social spaces such that everybody can access it, then there will be less or nothing that we can call disability,
Yeah.
because everybody can take part in everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, because, for instance, I drive. And it is because the car has been customized for me.
Okay. Yeah.
You see? So, in terms of driving, I'm not disabled
Yes.
because society has overcome that problem,
Yeah.
has come together to solve that problem for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, disability should be seen from that direction. That society must come together. The problem is societal problem. And society must prefer the solution together.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, Reverend Joseph Cromwell, and for all the nuggets that you have shared with us. Viewers, it's been another interesting time here on Let's Talk About, and we want to say a very, very big thank you to our guest for today, Reverend Joseph Cromwell. Papa Cromwell is an author, as we mentioned earlier, and he has written a book which you can contact him for copies of, or drop your name at the administration and it will be forwarded to him. His book is called Worthy, and as it's showing on your screen, there's a phone number that you can call if you would like to get copies of the book. It's a 0244 808 975. That is 0244 808 975. Papa, we thank you again for spending time with us this evening and for your patience to explain all these aspects of disability to us. Thank you also for joining us and for your engaging questions and comments that you sent our way. I have been your host this evening. My name is Lily Pobi. Have a good night and see you next week.